Hi, this is Nate, and today we are going to be reading Chapter 39, Jane Addams, Reformer in the Progressive Era. The 1900 census showed that America had 76.2 million people, 45 states, and territory that stretched from coast to coast. No other nation had ever grown so fast. While most people still lived in rural areas, each year fewer and fewer Americans farmed their own lands. Many Americans had moved to the cities, where they found jobs and opportunities, but also crime, poverty, and other problems. In response to these changes and problems, the populace, who were mostly farmers, seemed to be saying, "Whoa," and "Hold on," and "Let's look at the old-time rural values." But the times were changing. America was changing with them. Peaceful reform and change are difficult in any society. Before we move on to the next page, there's a picture down here, and the caption says, "Crowded, busy, dirty Mulberry Street in New York City, ca. 1900. Moving on. The powerful people in every nation are usually powerful because of the ways things are. They don't want to see things changed. When William Vanderbilt canceled a mall train and was asked how it would affect the public, he replied, "The public be damned." Besides, change is unsettling for everyone. The important thing to remember about democracies is that when the people are ready for change, it usually comes about. And so the progressive era was born. The populists had made people aware of some of the nation's problems. The progressives began to do something about them. They attempted to take the old rural values and make them work in the new urban order. For a while, progressive ideas were accepted by both the Democratic and Republican parties. Intelligent, able people got involved with their government. They became mayors and governors and presidents. They became reformers and writers and lawmakers. Progressives fought to see that children no longer spent their days working in fields and factories. They helped public schools grow until most children were assured of an education. For the immigrants pouring into the country, American public schools were a democratic wonder, offering promise and hope for all. Up here we have a picture, and the caption says, "Progressives fought to make a public school education available to almost all children and young people." And down here we have a box, and in it says, "There was one problem the progressives put aside. It was the problem of racial prejudice. That was saved for later generations to face." Progressives attacked the problem of long hours and low pay for workers, the problem of business monopolies, and the problem of waste of our national resources. You'll soon meet the first progressive president. As you can see, progressive reformers were busy on many fronts. Many focused their attention on solving the big problems in America's big cities. America's cities in the 19th century were polyglot. A polyglot city is one where many languages are spoken. The word polyglot comes from two Greek roots, poly meaning more than one, and glossa meaning tongue. America's cities were polyglot because they were filled with immigrants, diverse people from around the world, with their different languages and customs. These immigrants weren't having an easy time of it. To begin, they didn't understand American democracy. Many had come to America to escape oppressive rulers. They thought of government as the enemy. They didn't realize that in America, the government is supposed to be the people. That was why they often let city bosses control their lives. The boss answered their questions, helped them find jobs, or did other things to ease their adjustment to the new country. Down here we have a picture, and the caption says, "Working-class people in American cities came from many parts of the world." Bosses did do many worthwhile things, but most of them paid themselves for those worthwhile things by stealing from the people. In Chicago, a boss named Johnny Powers passed out free chickens and turkeys on holidays, so everyone loved him. Hardly anyone knew that he bought those turkeys with city money that was intended for schools. Powers also used city money to buy a house for himself and diamonds for his fingers. Since many of Chicago's citizens couldn't read English, it was difficult for them to know what was happening. So when reformers tried to improve life in the cities, they had a fight on their hands. The bosses were popular. Many reformers were wealthy people who wouldn't live in the inner cities. They didn't know its polyglot population the way the boss did. And here we have a picture, and the caption says, "Children crowd onto the fire escape of a tenement." And we have another picture, and its caption says, "Children using a tenement alley for a playground in New York City." Jane Addams was the best-known reformer of her day. She became the most admired woman in America. A visitor called her the only saint the United States has produced. Well, she wasn't a saint, but she was an intelligent, determined, college-educated woman who got things done. Addams' ancestors had come to Pennsylvania in the days of William Penn. By the time she was born, the family had moved west to Illinois. Her father, an Illinois state senator and friend of Abraham Lincoln, was a wealthy man, but that didn't mean she had an easy childhood. Jane's mother died when she was 2. Then Jane got tuberculosis, a common disease in those days. It left her with a crooked spine. That handicap helped her understand people who had problems. Still, Jane Addams could have had a life of parties and ease. She chose not to. She chose to do something important with her life. She chose to help others. And down here we have a picture, and it says, "Children at Hull House in Chicago." And then up here we have another picture, Jane Addams.